Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We are here in LA to drive something that has been changed up and refreshed for 2025. What the heck is it? It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2025 Honda Civic Si. But before we get into this rally red manual transmission sport compact car, let's talk about what's going on here. So Honda doing some tweaking to the Civic lineup. Not only are they doing some refresh style and some updates to the interior, but of course they brought back the Honda Civic, not only as a sedan, but also as a hatchback. One of the trims though that we have been waiting to get our hands on has been the Si. This really is that performance bread and butter from Honda. And it's kind of crazy because in Torrance, California, which is not too far from where we are at right now, you'll find the home of American Honda. But what I want to find out here is, do you go with this updated Honda Civic Si, or is it better to spend your money on possibly a Volkswagen Golf GTI, or maybe even a Hyundai Elantra N? Let's go ahead, let's dive in our bright red Si and find out. Right off the bat, this generation, the 11th generation of the Civic, really, to me, looks absolutely spectacular no matter what trim you go with. Now at the front of the business, you're still gonna see that same headlight design, and it's been working really well. LED daytime running lamps with the turn signals, LED headlights. Love the way they blacked out that interior. And then all new for 2025 is this lower front fascia area. So you're gonna have a full functional corner air curtain. Love the way they do the splitter, flat black. And that's one of the things that, even compared to my own Honda Civic Type R, I prefer the flat black over the gloss black. Now you do have a little bit of gloss black right on the lower portion here underneath the headlight housing, but the rest is gonna be flat black. But let me know what you think about that new sculpted functional corner of the front fascia. Now as we come across that center section, you're gonna have your honeycomb grille, of course the Honda badge, and then Si. Si stands for Sports Injected. On the lower portion, that larger section, we do have that bright silver intercooler behind, and you'll notice that they went gloss black on the front splitter. I'm kind of glad that they did that because that ties in the gloss black that's underneath the headlights on both sides, and then you have the rest is all flat black. Now, what's interesting is that the Civic is not the first car that was sold here in the United States to have the Si badge. That honor goes to the Honda CRX Si. Eventually, Si would be on the Civic. It'd even be on the Honda Prelude. Now, one thing I want to point out is that if you've ever wondered, why is the H your standard chrome H from Honda instead of the bright red H is reserved for the Type R models. So when Acura / Honda had the NSX, and in Japan they had the Honda NSX Type R, that is where it had that red badge. So if you see a Civic that has a red Honda badge, that person plucked this one off and stuck that on. Now as we rise up, I love on this 11 Gen Civic how you have that nice curve into the same hood. Hood is the same as last model year. As we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So you're gonna notice these satin matte black wheels, split spoke design all the way around. We have the optional. There's really only one option besides color for your Civic Si. They kind of make it real simple over at American Honda when choosing your Civic Si. The only option is summer tires. It's a $300 option, and in California, obviously, you want to go with the summer tire. Now, this is a new wheel for 2025, and one of the ways you can tell it's new is you see here they actually have the Si badge on the wheel. First time seeing that on a Civic Si. But if you're wondering, well, Joe, what is the size of the tire on this vehicle? Basically, like I said, you're looking at that Goodyear Eagle. You have an 18-inch wheel, and then notice that behind we have enlarged rotors and retuned suspension for 2025. So the rotors get larger when you go Civic Si, and then for 2025, they retuned the suspension, all four corners, and they stiffened the chassis. And then what's great is that you'll notice that when it comes to these Goodyear Eagles, not only is it an 18-inch wheel, but then you're looking at a tire width of 235 and a 40 series sidewall. So that's all four corners, because remember, it's front wheel drive. Now, as we come down the rest of the vehicle, SI gets gloss black on your mirror caps. Standard sunroof, that comes on a Civic Si. So those of you who cry that you can't get one on a Type R, if you go Civic Si, you'll get your sunroof. Color matched on the door handles, and then I really like the way they work that lower side skirt extension, all aerodynamically proven to flow the air nice and crisp down the side of the vehicle. You got a real quarter glass in the rear into that quarter panel. And then the other difference for 2025, besides the wheels, besides the front fascia, is they kind of redid the taillights by tinting them a little darker. You notice how that red has a nice little tint to it, even on the lower portions here. There's your SI badge, and then I love the trunklet spoiler. This really is that cherry on top of a Honda Civic Si Sunday, is having that not only trunklet spoiler, but it's functional as well. And then as we go down to ground level, you are going to have your functional stainless steel tips. It's an oval opening / cut. And when you compare this to the bigger Honda Accord, it's just, this is the styling from Honda that I like. Honda Accord is a little bland. And if you're comparing this to an Elantra N, yes, the Elantra N is going to have more performance, but this has the better look. And wait until we get to the interior. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk about horsepower numbers of this SI. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. Underneath the hood, I guess the zonk is there's no changes for 2025. But that may not necessarily be a bad thing. 1.5 liter turbocharged inline four, 200 horsepower, 192 pound-feet of torque. The thing that I love being a car enthusiast, 6-speed manual transmission only. No automatic. 0 to 60, if you know how to dance on your twinkle toes, around 6.3 seconds. Top speed 135 miles per hour. And guess what? MPGs is where this car really shines. 27 in the city, 37 on the highway. And that's the thing, is I feel like with the Civic Si, it really is that complete enthusiast car. You have some performance, you got crazy fuel efficiency, and then you have that driving engagement, which I can't wait to show you. Now, comparing this to a GTI, comparing this to an Elantra N, the GTI and the Elantra N both have more horsepower. GTI for 2025 is only available with an automatic, the 7-speed DCT, or what Volkswagen likes to call a DSG. Elantra N, you get to have your cake and eat it too. 6-speed manual or 8-speed dual clutch transmission. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this Civic Si and see how it moves. All right, guys, we're inside this 2025 Honda Civic Si. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I want a daily driver, but I want a car that's gonna be fun. I want a car that when I have some time off from work, or I just wanna get away and do some four-wheel therapy, I can do that. But I want it to be reliable, I want it to have fuel economy, and I want it to be safe and have a manual transmission. How much is this Civic Si? Well, the good news is still very competitive when it comes to pricing. MSRP, the way that this one is equipped with the summer rated tires, is right around $31,500. Let's see how it stacks up to the GTI or the Elantra N. To the door panels, I do love the nice, well-built style of Honda. Soft touch material up top, a little bit of gloss black, but you really shouldn't be touching that and getting your fingerprints on it. It does have red cloth, and that to me is a little bit of a zonk, but I like the way the red pops nicely with our rally red, cloth on the armrest, the red contrast stitching. You do get that trim around the switchgear that is fingerprint resistant, and a little bit of that red trim along the edge almost makes it look like it's anodized. Door pocket is big enough for some avocado toast and a nice bottle of pressed juice to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, that soft touch, I love the anodized red, that honeycomb, just like honeycomb cereal, big old scoops of honeycomb on the wire mesh, hiding the AC vents. We do have the Bose sound system and just a little bit of gloss black. You slide on in, we have the 9-inch infotainment system. It's nice because you have like a little finger rest here so that you can make your selections. It does come with the full Google Assistant, which is great. Wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. When you go to your home screen, you're gonna have all the familiar icons and apps that you normally find in your other Honda vehicles, very fast reacting. And what's also cool is you can move these around at will depending on where you want to have them placed. Let me throw it in reverse. That's the sore spot. That's the zonk, is the camera quality is like 1999. I mean, I miss 1999, but I don't miss the camera quality of 1999. So not loving that. You do have trajectory when you're backing up, which is nice. And you can adjust the position of the camera, the tilt. But other than that, just not very, very clear. Modes, we have our sport mode, of course, and normal. And of course, you have individual, which you hold down the button to then customize what you want out of your selections. Working your way down, there's some more of that great honeycomb finish. You got the bright red illuminated start stop button. 3 stages of heated seats. We have not dual climate, sorry. That's a strike against me. That's a zonk on me. Single climate, regular climate controls. You got your blower fan, your temperature. Down below, 2 USB-Cs, a home power source, no wireless charging. That's a zonk. That's something that I feel is so inexpensive that should be in almost every new car. But you can put 4 track day Twinkies there, more of that anti-fingerprint material. And then here it is. This is where you're going to make the magic happen. That 6-speed manual transmission. Love the aluminum shift knob that's wrapped with leather with the red stitching. Your red gear pattern. The throws are crisp and just really feel good in the palm of your hand. There's your drive mode selector switch. Those 3 different modes. You do have an electric e-brake, of course. 2 large cup holders. Get that big Yeti can in there. And then look at our Honda key fob. Spin it around. Love all of the simple functions. You do have cloth. I'm going to deal with it at this price point. Open it up. Get that paperwork out of there. You could easily put 4 balls that you've been playing with. So you could get the balls out of your hand because you're driving. You need them to drive the manual. And those balls that you had signed by the World Series winning, this year's World Series winning LA Dodgers, you could keep them in there and maybe one day you could sell them and get yourself that first gen accurate NSX that you want. Maybe an Alex Zanardi edition NSX. Now you're speaking my language. And if you know who Alex Zanardi is, you and I are now best friends. Seats. They are cloth, but like I said, that red material, the SI embroidery is nice. Good bolstering, and it's actually comfy. And then you are going to have manual controls for the passenger and manual controls for the driver, but they do save some face by giving you that standard size sunroof. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this SI. All right, guys, here we are, business time, behind the wheel, right to the pedal box. Love the pedal box, aluminum throttle, brake, and clutch. And yes, with your Civic Si, you could do your own heel-toe downshifting, or it does have automatic rev match for you. Dead pedal, come on, Honda, get with it. I'm zonking it. I want an aluminum pedal for a dead pedal here. Seat controls, they are manual, but they're easy to understand and easy to set it to your body type, and then you just forget it. I'm 6 feet tall, even with the sunroof, plenty of room. Steering wheel, remember I was telling you about materials? Volkswagen does a really good job, but compared to the Elantra, this interior is much nicer. I love the leather wrap steering wheel, all that great red stitching, flat black on the switchgear. It is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then you do get a 10.25-inch digital gauge cluster. When you go into your different modes like sport, it changes up. And then you'll also notice across the top here, you do have your shift lights. And I love the way you can just really see that tack very easily. But when you're driving, you actually have those shift lights just like the Type R has. So great gauge cluster. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat and see if your passengers are going to be happy that you decided to go on throttle and take them in the Civic Si. All right, guys, back seat time. Now, with the Civic Si, you do get a lot of room back here. I would argue with somebody and maybe just arm wrestle them to prove that I think there's more room back here than there is in a Volkswagen GTI. It's going to be tied. It's going to be close between the Elantra and this Civic, but very comfortable. You do have the cloth all the way around the back. A large pocket here. Easily put 4 donuts in there. Real easy from Krispy Kreme. The Zonk, though, no connectivity. No AC vents, no connectivity. They don't even give you 2 cans and a piece of string so that you could talk to somebody. That's sad. Another thing I don't like is how the back seat is plain Jane. Plain Jane, black back seat. It does get red stitching, but it would be nice if the seats matched. Type R is the same thing, man. So trust me, I know that life because I do have a FL5 Type R and it has black cloth seats. Now you can sit 3 across, unlike a Type R, so that's good. And you do have a nicely ooh, look at this. It's like a big, it's like a toasted marshmallow. I love it, with 2 cup holders. But other than that, it feels pretty good back here. Let's get into the trunk because I want to go for a spin in this Si. All right, guys, time to get in the trunk. Now, the interesting thing before I open up the trunk is that, yes, the GTI has a lot of room. It's a hatchback, and the Elantra N is pretty good. But I got to give it to Honda. Being a compact sports sedan, you got a lot of room here. 14 cubic feet of space. I actually have Steven and I's luggage in here just to give you an idea of what that looks like. I can move the bags forward, really frees up a lot of space. Plus, you'll notice that we have our 60-40 split for the rear seat. And here are the handles on both sides here to make that seat fold down so that you have more room. There isn't a spare on this car, and that seems to be the going trend on a lot of the sport performance style cars. No matter where they fall in the price point, you don't get a spare. So just something to realize. But what I want to do is, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get this rubber out there on the road and go on throttle together and see how good or how not so good the Si is. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 Honda Civic Si. What I love about the Civic, first of all, it's very easy to drive. So if you're new to manual transmission cars, especially a performance-oriented manual transmission car, this is a great one to go with because it's balanced. The clutch is not like an on-off pedal where you could actually feel the pickup point very successfully where that clutch bites or grabs so that you're not stalling it or making it all herky-jerky. Seating position in any Civic, especially an Si or a Type R, is always very pleasurable. They do a great job on the seats, on the seating position. The chassis is nice and balanced. They worked on the suspension to make it even more engaging and more connected. But you'll notice that even on this little bumpy area of road, it's not shaking the fillings out of my teeth. It's not shaking my spleen around and making me feel uncomfortable. So they did a really good job with compromising between sport handling and also being comfortable as you are going down the road. But visibility out the front is awesome. Out the back, same story. And I'm actually quite impressed how well it is riding over these bumps. Now remember, you do have automatic rev match downshift. So you could either do your own heel toe downshifting or the vehicle will do it for you. So it's up to you what you want to do. But the gearbox is a pleasure to row gears through. Go up to second gear. You ready? On throttle. Love the new shift lights. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what was that chime? When you get up the red line, you now have not only the shift lights, but you have that auditory sound to let you know to shift. There is still rev hang. They did work on it, but it is present. So just something to be aware of. The seats, they hold you in nicely, but they're also very comfy. And I can appreciate that. When it comes to the steering, that's where the Honda Civic Si really shines. The thing I'm not in love with, just like on my Type R, is the sound. I'm not really loving this pumped in sound through the Bose system. So just something to be aware of, that the sound that you're hearing is not necessarily the sound that you're getting out of the exhaust. Which is crazy because you do have those two functional exhaust tips out back, but yet they had the urge to do this piped in sound through the Bose system. But going down the road, like I said, plenty quick enough. And it's when you get to the twisty bits where this car really shines. I mean, it only weighs around a tick under 3,000 pounds. And that's a 4-door sedan we're talking about here. The fit and finish, there's no creaks, there's no rattles. So you are getting a good experience from the build quality to the interior. And like I said, these roads around LAX, I'll be honest with you, they suck. I'm zonking these roads. But it is, I'm able to show you just how well the car drives over ripped up roads. If you live in Michigan, I feel like these are regular Michigan roads. All right, guys, let's see how the handling goes. You ready? On throttle, second gear. On the brakes. Nice downshift. Here we go. Gotta shift, gotta shift. The sound, though, like I said, is just a little, it's a little too over the top for me. I wish they had an easy way that you could just go into the infotainment system and change that. But the car rides great, even on the summer radials. And like I said, just changing lanes, visibility, all the Honda sensing technology, it just all comes together very nicely in this 2025 Civic Si. You just got to be ready to shift those gears. And that's the thing is that, you know, it takes time to get used to how the car is geared. But the steering feedback, the feel, the way this car communicates, there's not a lot of front wheel drive vehicles that drive as well as a Civic Si, as a Civic Type R. I mean, the Honda engineers they just know what they're doing. But it's just a fun car to drive. It's a fun car to drive every day, and having that manual transmission really makes it so. And I don't know, I know some of you are probably asking, well, Joe, is there ever going to be an automatic Si? I don't think so. I haven't heard diddly squat from Honda. All right, guys, going down this twisty road in the Civic Si really does a great job of allowing you to be connected to what's going on here at the front end of the business, especially with this being front wheel drive. It's like I feel, excuse me, I'm getting all choked up going on throttle. I feel like Honda does a great job with allowing you to feel exactly how much grip the front end of the car is giving you. And that's important because it's giving you acceleration, the braking, and the cornering, because this car is front wheel drive. But the way that they've tuned the suspension is really where all of this comes together, because they did it in such a way that allows you to really be able to connect with the road in the car. All right, guys, you ready? All right, throttle, here we go. I like the shift lights that have been added from the Type R. I don't like the sound of the alert to let you know that you're getting close to red line. I wish that they would do something maybe that would pulsate slow and then quicker as you get close to that 6,500 RPM red line. But other than that, the dash, very well sorted. It's been used in Civics for a bit of time now, but I think at this price point, that's the thing you have to remember, $31,000, you're getting a lot of fun driving car here. And that's the key, is that it's not so much that you're gonna obviously win a drag race, but when you find your favorite twisty road, when you're using this as your daily commuter car, it allows you to really enjoy the art of driving, the engagement of driving. And that's what I really, really like about this car and about the Civic Si in general. But we're gonna go ahead, as you can see, very, very traffic filled right now. And I guess that's the other key to the Civic Si, is that it really is a great car to drive in the city because it's a good size and it allows you to navigate very easily. But we're gonna go ahead, get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways. We got to thank the whole Honda team getting us access not only to a 2025 Honda Civic Si, but I'm also glad that it was Rally Red, because I feel like Rally Red looks so good on a current gen Civic compared to previous gens. I don't know what it is, but it just works really well. But let me know what you think. Are you liking the 2025 Civic Si? Would you get this over a GTI or an Elantra N? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rise family. Gotta get up to Stephen Flood. No matter what state we're in, no matter what city we're in, he's ready to rock and roll. And that makes sense because he used to be in a rock band. So show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.